So this is the weather we waited at the marina for a week to get. The wind's gone around to the north, blowing probably about 10 knots at the moment, I'd reckon. Getting up a little bit, it was only about 3 knots this morning, so getting up a little bit, and we're just rocking along with it pretty nicely. So I'll just show you what we're doing, and yeah, I've had someone ask to show what conditions are like in different types of wind strength. So this is 10 knots, and this is what it looks like. There's a little bit of swell from the southeast, but the waves are from the north, and there's not much swell, probably about a metre, but it is from the south, but the sea itself is all from the north. Well, we don't wear skimpy bikinis. Hell, it frightens me when I take my shirt off. There's definitely no one pregnant here. This is motor sailing for old dudes. We do live on a boat, and we do cruise extensively along the Australian coast. Join us and visit some great destinations. Learn how to look after a boat and live off grid. It might even get you enthused to do the same thing. Hey, stay out there till you can't. So we left from about the top of the chart here at Shell Harbour, down past Kiamata. Now we're just going past Shoalhaven Bight. This is Grenwell Point in here. But we're not going to Grenwell Point this trip. We're going to head straight down to Beecroft Head and into Jervis Bay. So about a 6-hour trip, and we should be in and anchored up by 4 o'clock at the latest this afternoon. Maybe even do it a bit better if the wind gets up a little bit more. So one of my followers asked to show how we actually set sail on the boat, so come with me and I'll show you how we do it. First thing I do is set up a turning block. There's a couple of points I can mount this on. Run that out along the deck so that the sail can unfurl. So we only run one sheet off the headsail. It just saves, if I had 2 sheets, the other sheet's dragging down the side of the boat and flipping around, so we only run the one sheet. And if we have to jibe the sail, we never go into the wind, so we're not doing any tacking. If I have to jibe the sail, what we have to do is roll it up onto the furler, set it up on the other side of the boat, and then unfurl it again, which is a bit of a chore, but usually when you're at sea you get on the one heading, and as long as the wind's right, usually you hold that sail for most of the time. It sort of comes down to the fact that if you're going to do a lot of jibing, if you're close to where you're going to be, we'll probably fold the sail up and motor the rest of the way. We're doing about 5.1, 5.2 knots at the moment. So with the sail out, we hope to do 6.5, maybe 7.
Maybe 8.
Sorry?
Maybe 8.
Maybe 8, with a lot more wind. So first thing I do is just unpack the sail, so that stops it from unfurling when we don't want it to. Okay, so I unfurl the sail to there, and now what I'm going to do is run the sheet through the box and down on the winch down the back. both sides of the boat. Pretty simple setup. That's how we tail the sheet to the headsail. So that's ready to fly now. What we do now, Wendy will get up the front, let the furler line out while I haul the sail on. We're just going to wait a minute till we turn around with the wind a bit. We're just getting past a few rocks and that off Bass Point here, and we'll get the sail out. I think we've got a nice little breeze to give us a bit of a push along. You right, darling? So the sea now, I would estimate the wind's up around 15 knots now, and it's still from behind us, or it's quartering us actually. This is a lovely breeze for us because it's coming in off our quarter, off our port quarter, and I've got the sail set out to starboard, and it's probably about as good as you can get as far as the sail giving us a good lift. So we're probably picking up nearly a knot off the sail at the moment. Beecroft Head you can see up in the distance, and we'll get round there and then into Jervis Bay. You can see travelling in these conditions is very comfortable. You can do it for a long while. It's not hard at all. Travelling with that wind behind you at 10 to 15 knots, the sail's doing a bit, and it's very relaxing. So it's the best way of doing it, really. Heading into the wind and the waves. We're down to 3.3 knots. Every time we drop off a wave like that, we lose a bit of boat speed, and it just becomes very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. So that's exactly the same wind strength. I'll turn back around again and run with it, and you can see the difference. And this is why we always look for the weather to be coming from behind, because it just makes life more pleasant on board. And that's in 15 to 20 knots. Imagine it if it was worse than that. It would become quite untenable, I imagine. Well, I just thought I'd have to share with you what cruising life is all about, what we're doing. We're just sitting down to have some dinner and a couple of glasses. We've got a couple of glasses of red going, and I just want to show you the view and the sounds that we're hearing while we have dinner. So there's 7 of us anchored off Long Beach in Jervis Bay at the moment. There's the beach. We went there and walked Ted up and down for an hour and a half, 2 hours this afternoon. Wombi and I had a swim. It was bloody cold. We had a shower on the back of the boat. And now we're sitting down to chicken Kiev and a little red wine. And life couldn't be better. It's been a great day. I just thought I'd share it with you. Well, I just popped a bit of sail out. I reckon the conditions out here at the moment are about 5 knots. We've got them from behind still, from the north, but the sail's only just filling, so it's not really doing much for us, but the conditions out here at 5 knots are pretty good. So very comfortable. The motor's doing most of the work now, but this wind will probably fill in a little bit in the next hour or two, and we'll get a bit of drive off the sail and still be quite comfortable. So dudes, this is the second day of northerlies, and today we've got probably 10, not even 15 I wouldn't think. The sail's full, it's doing a good job. We're skipping along about 7.2 at the moment, so very enjoyable. These are the conditions you really love. You've got to have that wind behind you when you're motor sailing like this, and it just makes life so much more comfortable. These are the sort of conditions I really want when we cross Bass Strait. So we'll have to wait for that, but we should be able to get them. Keeping an eye on the weather. Looks like a bit of cloud build up. There could be a few thunderstorms around maybe, but we'll keep an eye on that. And another 3 hours we'll be down in Batemans Bay.
Rescue, Batemans.
Yeah, Batemans, we're on your log. We've just entered the bay, and just wondering, would you have any idea of what depths there are on the bar into the river?
The actual number, Peggy-Anne, may vary, but our suggestion is you work on a minimum of 1 metre at low tide time. Over?
Yeah, roger. Okay. Well, we've just entered the bay. You can take us off the log. We might stop at Chain Bay and get out of the wind there for a bit, and then come in and cross the bar a bit later on. Over.
Copy that, Peggy-Anne. Can you tell me what you draw? Over?
Yeah, only draw 0.7. Over.
Okay, your call is prudent, Peggy-Anne, but you should find that you have access across the bar within the next hour. Over.
Yeah, Romeo. Well, in that case, we might come down to, I think it's Snapper Island, isn't it, and hang there. We're just on the leads coming into the bay anyway, so we'll let you know maybe before we cross the bar. Well, I just contacted Marine Rescue, and they've informed me that there's a metre of water on the bar at low tide, so we draw 0.7. We should be able to sneak across at low tide, and we're about an hour and a half off the low now, so we should be able to sneak in okay. If we wanted to, we'd pick up those moorings behind Snapper Island and wait there for an hour or so until there's a bit more water on the bar. This bar is not a really dangerous one. It's very deep in Batemans Bay, and it's not really affected by swell and wind too much. So be aware it is a bar, so if you do get the wind from the wrong direction, it could push it up a bit and make it ugly, but in most circumstances it's a pretty easy crossing into the river at Batemans. Next week, we take a look around Batemans Bay before heading to Maruya, where we cross the bar and spend a week up the river. Ted goes to the vet and we untangle our anchor chain.
We'll have to bring it up on board to do, won't we?
Sorry?
Can we lift it back?
See you next week, dudes.